Good morning. Hello, welcome. How is everybody? I have biscuits. They're not meant to be in frame. There we go. Yes, how is everybody? What is everybody up to today? I am planning on working on my Parrotdise dress. It needs lots. Oh, just had an email to say I've gone live. That's good. Yeah, I've got lots of finishing stuff that needs to happen to that dress. It needs hemming, need to sew down the midriff lining, and then I need to put trim everywhere. And I have all of the trim. So yeah, I think I'm going to end up with quite a lot of trim left over from this dress, which is not a bad thing at all. And I've also got, now that I've cut them apart, these thinner trims. And I don't know if I'm crazy, but I kind of actually like the little doodads on them. What do you guys think? I don't dislike that. I mean, I can always go along and trim that off, but I don't think I dislike it. So, because it's obviously this is what it originally looked like, and this is what it looks like now. And I think a combination of these two plus the other one could look quite nice in a dress as well. So even more trim for me to play with, which we all know how I feel about trim. Mary's here, good morning. Roylyn is here, hello from Bellevue, Washington, USA. Good morning. I think I have Washington correct. Caroline says, happy Sunday, Shan and Peeps. Except there's a small typo there, and I don't think you meant to say that. Rachel says, she says, good morning, lovely. Good morning. Louise says, hello, Shan. It's ages since I've been on the live stream. It's very nice to see you, Louise. And Jane says, morning all, greetings from Bristol. Like the trims very much. Michelle says, good morning, peeps. Only around for a short time today. Another beach day today. Hope you're all good. I don't blame you, Michelle. If I lived in Bermuda and I had that kind of access to those kinds of beaches, I'd be doing that all the time as well. Oh, bloody dog. I might have to go and rescue her. 2 secs. Oi, Susie. Susie. No. Mum and Dad have put like a million different large plant pots in that corner so she can't just throw herself at the fence, which she had been doing. But now she's kind of like trying to like just throw herself in between the pots, and it's not the best of ideas. So yes. Right, so turn this completely wrong side out. So fully line this one to help with the opacity of the fabric. Not that it was see-through, but just to kind of give it a bit of a helping hand, as it were. So I need to pin this lining on. The neighbour's dog isn't even like replying. She's just making noise for the sake of it. Dear. Caroline says, oops, being sat on. Tristan's here, good morning. It's 5 a.m. and I'm on time. Good morning. Elena's here. Hello, Shan and Peeps. Hello. Mim says, good morning, gorgeous. How are you today? Hello, Peeps. I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you? Shanae says, good afternoon, everyone from Cape Town. Good afternoon. Michelle says, only con is I'm still recovering from last week's sunburn, but small tribulations to endure for sunshine in paradise. This is true. Yvonne says, good morning, everyone. I hope you're all well and managing to keep cool in the UK. For us on the island, at least, it's been sort of mid-20s and very pleasant. So it's currently 21 degrees in here, just about to hit 22, and it's lovely. Fox says, good morning all. Hope you're all having a great day, bracing for Monday. Conchetta says, good morning, everyone. Ace, the Wonder Cat, is intrigued by the puppy. Hope everyone is well. Dad's just come to rescue the puppy. if she'd have been doing her screaming thing, I would have taken her up to the house, but she was just posturing, basically. Oh, yes. Jacqueline says, good morning from across the water in Fareham. Good morning. So, yes, let's try and get some of this dress finished today.
If she comes down and starts, just touch her with this.
Okay.
Don't hit her. Just like that.
Okay. Okay. Papa is rescuing the dog. Right, let's get this pinned into place so that I can get it sewn. So I'm matching up the side seams and then the folded edge with the stitching that I've put in. So this one, let's see, it's 140 wide and I've got 2 of those, so that's 280, and then I've got another one in, well, a half in, which would be 70 centimeters. So that's 3.5 meters in this waistline. It's gathered down very densely indeed. But I love how this skirt looks. This dress does kind of feel heavy because it is 5 meters of fabric, but it is just so pretty. And because it's a lightweight viscose, I probably wouldn't wear it on the hottest day ever. But I definitely would wear this in current weather that we're having today for sure. I did think about putting one of my ones on. I'm actually thinking about maybe trying to put flutter sleeves on this bodice, because we all know how the sleeve doodad debacle turned out. So I'm wondering how I would feel about flutter sleeves, if they might look nice, because I do really love this bodice. Even with a side zipper in it, so yeah. Moran's here. Good afternoon from Israel. Today I pack with you on in the background because we are moving soon. Well, thank you for joining us and letting us keep you company. Mim says, I'm such a hero. We had a heat wave in Germany and I managed to catch a cold yesterday wearing the pretty green dress I showed in the Peeps group this morning. Oh, that is a pretty dress. But I'm sorry you got a cold. I've got a croaky voice, but I've had a croaky voice since I've had COVID back in February. It's not, the croakiness is not gone. I mean, I kind of always had a bit of a croaky voice, but it seems, for me, it seems worse since the COVID. But I am totally fine. I just sound very croaky. So, yeah. So we've got people packing, getting ready to go to the beach. Being sat on by their puppies. What's everyone else up to? And I lined this particular bodice in cotton lawn. There are I could have done it in viscose, and I do have some viscose in stock, but there are gathers in this bodice, but I kind of thought that it would just, I don't know, I don't know, I kind of, cotton lawn is my go-to for everything, and there's no like real drape needed in the bodice of this dress, so I decided to go for cotton lawn as a lining. I mean, at the very least, the midriff out of cotton lawn is always going to be fine, and then if you're worried about the drapiness of the fabric, then the upper bodice you can do in something drapier like a plain viscose, or even the viscose, if you've got enough of it, that you're making the rest of the dress in. I do that sometimes, line dresses in the same fabric, especially if they are, you know, the edges will get seen. Let's see, where did I get to? Chat. Marissa's here. Hi, everyone. Good evening from Brisbane. Good evening. Anna's here. Hello, all from Finland. Hello, welcome. Rachel says, working from home till 6, trying to do a bit of sewing when I can. Oh, nice. Well, not nice about the working, but sewing. What are you sewing? Marissa says, I took my nana to Spotlight this afternoon. They had 40% off all fabric. I was not well behaved. Awesome. That is awesome. 40% off. You can't behave with 40% off. I am having to behave because we are going to the Festival of Quilts, and I want to still have money available to go crazy at the Festival of Quilts. So that's why I'm behaving. Okay. I didn't think it would take me this long to get something pinned into place, would you? But it is. Oh, I started, I finished all of my Stargate. I have to pay for the Stargate Universe, which is £15 per season. So it's 30 quid to watch the 2 seasons. And that's a little bit rich for my blood. I did look and see if it was on any streaming services, because Stargate Atlantis was on MGM streaming service. So I got that, which was because it was £5 for a month. It was free for a week and then £5 for a month. And I went over the free week by about 2 days, but watched all 5 seasons of Atlantis in those like 9 days. And now I have a month of MGM. And I hadn't realized that Amazon has bought MGM for 8.1 billion or something. And there is rumors that they might be doing another Stargate set in this, not a reboot, but another one set in the same universe, but new stories, which I'm very excited about. I do love a bit of Stargate, so yes. Let's see. Conchetta says it's 6 a.m. here, so it's coffee time. If I'm being honest, it's always coffee time. Jane says, making a muslin of the 7390 I bought from Stitched Up's D-Stash. Thank you, Rachel. McCall's 7390. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. No, I don't want a pattern review. I want just a picture. 7390. Oh, pretty. Oh, that's nice. Are you going for stripes? Or are you doing solids? Or you got some, yeah, that's nice. I like it. Elizabeth says, hi peeps, a sewing hangout, such a lovely way to pass the time at 6 a.m. So many of you guys are up so early. Helen says, hello, and hello, anyone. Hello everyone, very warm here in Christchurch, Dorset. I'm sewing up easy summer dresses, new look 6373 view C. I hope everyone is all right. Let's have a look at new look. New look 6373. Oh, nice. Again, come on. View C. Ooh, pretty. Pretty. View C is the floral, the little floral one. That's nice. Very summer appropriate. Good for the heat, I would imagine. Kashama says, good morning from Pula. Good morning. Very jealous. We will be in Pula next year. What's the weather like over there? Because when we go, it's sort of late 20s, early 30s. But I would imagine at this time of year, it's mid 30s. But very nice. Very nice. There's really lovely restaurant along this, the harbour front. I really like that walk along the harbour front as well. That's a nice one. Elena says to Johanna, where in Finland do you live? I'm in Helsinki. Mim73 says, I wanted to say that I love the light blue dress with the trim. It's so beautiful and fits you so well. In love. That's what we're working on today, and it's not finished yet. There is plenty more trim that needs to be added. But today, I thought I would do some of that with you guys because it's easy sewing and should be fun as well. I really like how the shearing has turned out on the wrists. I wasn't sure to start with, but I do really like it. And it's making me want to do all of the shearing. I did buy a whole bunch of shearing elastics in different colors. So we've got light grey, dark grey, turquoise, white, and black. So definitely going to have a go at doing some more shearing because I really do like how that has turned out. I had my machine put away yesterday so I could do the twirls for the floral spotty dress. I really like how that's turned out, actually. I'm very grateful to Patreon peeps for voting for that combination and not making me have to buy more fabric in like the spotty one in red. I think the red one would have looked lovely, and I'm not ruling out doing something like the inspiration picture to start to again at some point, but I do really like how that dress has turned out. And I really like this 6554. I think it is a very pretty dress. Right. I'm wearing one of my 8577s, and the skirt is so big I have to be careful that I don't roll over it with my chair when I move, because that does happen. Let's see. Natalie says, good morning, peeps. Good morning. Louise says, I'm cleaning the bathroom whilst listening. Exciting times. Shanae says, cutting all my sewing projects for this week. They just happen to be 3 patterns: Project Runway gathered sundress and 2 Annie denim jackets from Mood. One for mum and the other for me. Very nice. Box 3D says, peeps, I have found some stunning patterns recently and wanted to share. They are very sleeve-tastic and mostly new to Vicky Sews. Mostly the new Vicky Sews ones. Is it appropriate to just share the patterns in the Facebook group? Yes, please do share away. I have discovered some lovely new pattern companies from you guys sharing stuff in the Peeps group, and it is always nice to see what you guys. I think with the I think maybe I need to put up some group guidelines so that people know what is and isn't appropriate. I think as long as it's sewing related, so like fabric patterns, seeking advice, those kinds of things, like just do it. Don't need to ask. Funnies, cat funnies, definitely. I think I don't want it to be somewhere that politics is discussed or religion, because I think both of those are very divisive and topics that, you know, there's no place for that. Having said that, stuff like Black Lives Matter and things like that, I don't see as politics. I see as human rights, and that I will freely discuss. So yeah, I think if it's sewing related, then feel free, throw it up. Let's have a look. Share the patterns. Make me buy more patterns is basically what I'm saying. So yeah, I think that's kind of what the group is meant to be. And I want it to be a safe space for everybody, and everybody is welcome. So yeah. Jane says, thanks, have some stripes. We'll decide which one once sorted the muslin. Nice. Nimue says, hello everyone. I'll see how long I get to join today. Mum and I are heading for the ceramics show after lunch. Ooh, nice. Rolian says, did everyone see the Big 4 is becoming the Big 5 with a new pattern line from Makers? I hadn't seen that. Interesting. Joanna says to Elena, I'm in. Oh, here we go. Nurminjavi? Very sorry. So not that far from you. Conchetta says, my goal today is to cut out the Simplicity 9325 and sew up a quarter note clutch. Ooh, I like those. I haven't made one. I have the pattern, but I haven't made one yet. Kashama says, it's very hot, 31 degrees now with a high of 32 degrees. We're back again next year. So if it's the same time, it would be lovely to meet up. We'll be going at the beginning of September next year. We've already booked the dates. So beginning of September. I don't know. I think you say you leave at the end of August, don't you? Elena says, Sean, did you already fix the gaping on the neckline? For the blue one, I took a wedge of a half an inch out of this one, and it wasn't quite enough. It was still gaping a little bit on the one side. The other side fit perfectly, so I'm going to take another quarter inch out, and I'm showing you guys how I do that in the video, which will be coming on Friday. For this one, I'm just going to use the trick that I've done with all the other ones, because the other ones I haven't taken anything out of the neckline and it gaped massively, which is why I put the drawstring or the eyelets and the rouleau loop in, was to hide that. So I have already put the eyelets in, and I've already made the drawstring. So as soon as I'm done finishing, that will go in, and that helps hide the gaping. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys how I get rid of the little bit of excess that's in there. And we can that will be out in next Friday's video. Yes, I know my thread is too long, before anyone tells me. Michelle says, question, I saw somewhere that people wax their thread when hand sewing. Anyone do this? Is it a game changer as professed or just a necessary step? Just want thoughts and opinions. I actually do have some beeswax thread, I think. But I've never tried it, to be honest. A couple of you lovely lot have sent me some. I've never tried it, and I probably ought to try it, but I have never, because I don't really have a problem with sewing with regular thread that's not been waxed. So yeah, never tried it. But how about everybody else? Nimoy says, I had to literally drop my sewing on Thursday and going to work early. Getting back to it now, I'm like, what was I doing again? Seam ripping. I was seam ripping. Oh. Elena says to Joanna, that's true, that they're fairly close, and I'm so sorry about the pronunciation. Natalie says, I wax and iron my thread when hand sewing. It's game changing if you tend to use long lengths of thread, so maybe I should be. Marissa says, I got 2 of the new releases, new look patterns today, 6718 and 6719. Ooh, nice. And I would look them up and see what they look like, but I currently have my hands occupied, so I won't. Fox 3D says, thanks, take a look at the new Vicky Sews Rosaria, the sleeves, and the autumn collection Diana dress. Do you like any of them? I understand you are not into PDF patterns. I do like Vicky Sews patterns very, very much. And the only reason I am not into PDFs is because of my utter laziness. And so I will have them sent off to net printers or someone like net printers to have them printed for me. And it's not that I've got anything against PDF patterns. I'm lazy. I am very, very lazy. I do not want to stick PDF patterns together. So I do like Vicky Sews. I want to have a look at some of their stuff. I've also recently ordered a pattern from Etsy, and it's a milkmaid dress style pattern. So with puff sleeves, the drawstring kind of gathered over bust piece, and then a fitted waist and a circle skirt. And it was 30% off, I think. So it was one of those ones that was just like an ad that was served to me, and I was like, oh, that is nice. So I treated myself to that one, and I would like to try and make that one. Sorry, that was a complete tangent. I can't even remember the name of the company that it's come from, but I'm actually thinking about printing that one out myself because I'm going to print just the bodice pieces, because the skirt is very nice, but it's a short circle skirt, so I don't need to. And you know, I have circle skirts patterns drafted in my stash, like every kind of circle. I've got the half, 3/4 and full and double. So I think what I would do is put one of those ones on to the bodice. Obviously just make sure that the waist's measurements are the same. But yeah, I think that's why I'm thinking about actually words are hard. That's why I'm thinking about actually kind of printing that one out myself, is just because there's not that many pages of the bodice to do and stick together. So yeah, but I do like Vicky So's patterns. I like them a lot. Nia's here. Good morning, folks. Good morning. And Fox 3D says good morning as well. Cecilia says, hello, peeps. Sorry I'm late. Was slept in for once. No worries at all, Cecilia. Sunday, you're allowed to sleep in. Ryland says, I like miracle thread instead of wax, and it works. Nice. Louise says, Bernadette Banner does the wax thing. She does. She uses a lot of natural thread types, though, like linen thread and cotton thread and silk thread and things like that, which don't have the coatings on them. So yeah. Michelle is here. Hello, everyone. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Very early for you as well. Nia says, I'm having a lazy tracing day with the Romana dress and the Minute Malot swimsuit. Nice. Have you decided what you're going to wear for the Festival of Quilts yet, Rachel? Sorry. Have you decided what you're going to wear for the Festival of Quilts yet, Nia? Words are hard. Words are hard. Joanna says, if you recall correctly, waxing is more important when you're using cotton linen thread that is less smooth. Polyester ones is usually fine without waxing. Yeah, I think that is another reason that I don't do it, because all of my threads are polyester. I just heard that polyester thread was stronger, and again, I'm not sure if that's 100% true or not. But yes. Words are hard. I am not sleeping very well at the moment. I'm having new pain symptoms, which is fun. I'm really hoping it is just an actual toothache, not a new development in the TMJ, because it sucks. I am not sleeping well at the moment. Not sleeping well at all. And Nimoy says, I recently bought cotton threads for the first time for English paper piecing and hand quilting. After my first few experiments, I think I'll try waxing those. Interesting. Interesting. You have to let us know how you get on. I'm really excited about the Festival of Quilts. This is one of the dresses that I'll be wearing at it. And there is another one next to you, the Elephant and Chameleon 6891, which I've cut out but needs to be sewn up, but I can do that in a day, so that will definitely get done before we go. And then I obviously need to do the super secret squirrel dress, which I need to trace and alter if need be, cut out and sew. And then I have got my Deer and Doe trio of dresses that Patreon Peeps voted for, so the Orchid, Licorice and Forget Me Not. And I want to try and get those done as well, because I need to have videos go up whilst we are away. Although we are going to be filming the Festival of Quilts fabric haul with Big Bird and Mum, and that might go up on the Friday, possibly, because we're going on the Thursday for our shopping day, and then I'm going back on the Saturday and Sunday to work. Natalie says, I still wax and iron polyester thread if I'm sewing cotton and linen cloth. The fabric and needle, I can rough up your thread even if it's polyester. Oh, interesting. Nia says, not yet, no, but something comfy. I've just made the Sophie sundress, which is really nice to wear. Ooh, pretty, 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 pretty. Do you have a shopping list this year, Nia? Are you looking for anything in particular? Mum is looking for stuff for the dressmaker's ball. I am basically wanting to go to Stitch Fabrics and have a look at what they've got and possibly buy the ridiculously expensive silk. Although the dress that I was thinking about using that ridiculously expensive silk for, I still haven't made a muslin of or tested it out to see if I actually like it. So I think maybe I won't buy the ridiculously expensive silk because it's still on the website and it's not like there's any show discounts or anything from Stitch Fabrics. So I'll go and have a look and see what Stitch Fabrics have. They have one of the Dolce & Gabbana pineapple print, leafy prints on a white background on a, I think it was a cotton, but it might have been a viscose. That was stunning. So I might get some of that, but I don't know. I don't know. But I am going to try and be good because there's a whole bunch of Lady McElroy prints that I want, but they are bringing them all out, or at least Raymond's put them on the list of things to be put onto viscose bases. So like the Hydrangea Story, especially the white colorway, the Amaryllis, and the Anaconda Antithesis. I want all of those prints, but I do want them on the viscose bases, which they've only just been put in to be ordered on those bases. So they won't have them at the show. This blue Parrotdise was another one that I wanted. And obviously I have it. So that's come off of the list. So I've only got Hydrangea Story in the blue colorway, or the white blue colorway on my list at the moment. And I'm not ruling out buying that on the Cotton Lawn as well as on the viscose when they bring it out on the viscose. So yeah, but my list is not that big. So yeah. Nimue says natural fibre threads are made up of many shorter fibres and tend to fray because of that. Polyester is one long extractive fibre, so it doesn't fray or tear as easily. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Karen says, good evening, lovely peeps, from Brisbane. I hope you're well. Very well, thank you, Karen. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Gosh, there's 106 of us and 26 likes. Please do like the stream, peeps. I promise it helps. It really does. Sal's here. Good day, Sean and peeps. Good evening, Sal. Shanae says, I'm not a fan of the UK. Kindly explain what the festival of... I'm not from... Sorry, my eyesight... See, this is why I have to wear glasses. My eyesight is terrible. Shanae says, I'm not from the UK. Kindly explain what the Festival of Quilts is, please. Literally that. It is a 4-day show that they hold in Birmingham at one of the exhibition centres. In fact, I think it's in 3 of the rooms. It was last year. It might just be in 2 this time because they don't need to space out quite so much. It's predominantly quilting, but there are some dressmaking companies that go, like Lady McElroy, Stitch Fabrics, Lily Fabrics, Bombay Stores, although they do a lot of quilting stuff as well. But it's a giant shopping experience. There's quilts up on display that have been entered into competitions. Sewing machine companies go with their different brands and models. There's loads of different crafts there as well. There's always the Cats Protection League have a stand. So yeah, it's just a big 4-day kind of extravaganza of shopping. It's kind of like we have the knitting and stitching show as well, which is much more geared towards the sort of dressmaking, knitting side of it, names in the title. But yeah, the Festival of Quilts is a big expo. I think you guys have, there's sorry, I don't know where you're from, Shanae, but there are equivalents in the States as well. Would imagine there's equivalents all over, really. But yeah, it's going to be really fun. And one of my favorite fabric companies, Lady McElroy, have a stand there, and I am working for them for 2 days. So this is one of the dresses that I'm going to be wearing as what is my uniform, and they've sent me the fabric, and I am attempting to make something very pretty out of it, which I am just about managed to do. I just need to I'm just sewing up, like I say, the midriff panel. Got to remove all the gathering stitching from the skirt because there's a lot that's visible, and hem it and then sew on the rest of the trim. And because of the way that I'm doing the trim, I'm basically just appliquing it on, so I can do that once the dress is finished, which is really nice. Nia says she has a long list. Conchetta says, I'm super excited to see the fabric haul from the Festival of Quilts. I started looking for similar events here. At the moment, I'm planning on a full trip to New York just to spend a day at Mood. Ooh, nice. I want to do that too. Cecilia says, Sean, have you noticed if the muscles in the back of your neck and head are tense and sore along with your TMJ? I noticed my TMJ improved when I took time to massage and relax that area. In all honesty, I haven't noticed that, but I think maybe they could be because it's been going on for so long. Lots of people keep telling me to go and see a chiropractor, so I'm looking into that as well. I absolutely hate sports deep tissue massage, but I'm probably going to go and try that. So yeah, no, I haven't noticed that, but that could be because it's just been so tense for so long that it's just now my norm rather than something that's like, oh, I need to think about it, like, you know, or actually I do wake up in the morning and physically have to think about relaxing everything. But I don't know if that's because I'm clenching up around the pain or if the clenching up is causing the pain. So I do have a bite guard to wear at night. It doesn't help. So yeah. Mia says, boringly though, I need black cotton sateen or similar, slightly structured. You probably want to try and look for that outside of the shows, because Lady McElroy as well, they've sort of said like, we're just bringing prints, we're not bringing any of our solids. If you had the fabric room, have loads of that. Where else has cotton sateen? But I know what you want it for, and it's going to look awesome. Roland says, I'm packing for sew camp with my sewing friends. I think I have 8 projects to cut out and in project bags ready to go. So excited. Oh, that's so cool. Nia says, or Midnight Blue if I can find it. That would look nice. Roland says, sorry for the stutter. It's 3:30 a.m. here. No, wow, that's bedtime for me. I never wake up at that time. Gin and Pin says, morning peeps, I use beeswax on cotton thread if I'm hand stitching. Definitely stops the thread tangling up so much, but I don't go as far as ironing thread as well. Advised to wax thread for upholstery for strength. Okay, that makes sense. Lene is here. Hello everyone. Hi. Joanna says, have a great day everyone, and thank you for the company. For the company for my hand sewing. I need to switch to machine and need to focus so I can costume for a friend before wed next week. Wednesday next week? I hope I can do it. You can do it. You can totally do it. But thank you for joining us. Mia says, the quilts are absolutely works of art. They are stunning. They really are. Joanna says, it's Regency tailcoat and sleevels are next. Wish me luck. Good luck. You can do it. The sleevels will be tamed. Natalie says, good luck to Joanna. Linnea says, working on my first Eve dress today. I'm late to the party. What are you all working on? I'm working on my Parrotdise dress. I've had this Parrotdise song in my head going over and over and over, and just the one line going over and over in my head the entire time I've been working on this dress, which is a little annoying, but you know, there you go. Elizabeth says, if you go to New York and you're coming from the south, also check out Pennsylvania. They have tons of quilt stores due to the Amish. Ah, interesting. I always enjoy Angela Clayton's kind of like trips that she does with her mum, where they go like around their because she lives in New York. I think they go over to Pennsylvania too, and just like antiquing and quilt store finding, and it looks so much fun. Philomene said here, good morning. Do you have a video somewhere about where you talk about all the different kinds of fabrics, how they feel, flow, structure, differences, etc.? I don't, because there's loads of other people who've done that. Bianca from the Closet Historian is one that springs to mind immediately. Loads of you guys have asked for that kind of a video. I mean, I have to say I am not an expert, and I was trying to think about how I would do it from my perspective, and so that I'm not trying to portray myself as an expert, but just be like, this is what I think about when I think about making a dress, for example. And in all honesty, I have worked with quilting cottons, regular cottons, viscoses, some structured silks, some slippery silks, but not many. Velvet, which I hated every second of. So my range of experience is not that great, because I have found things that I like wearing, and I think for me that's the important thing, is like, how does this fabric feel to wear? And I absolutely love how viscose feels. So predominantly I sew with cotton, lawn, and viscose. Some of the some coating fabrics, yeah, I'm not an expert for sure. I do have a book called where is it, More Fabric Savvy, which I really like, and it has like a whole, it's basically like an encyclopedia of all the fabrics ever. And let me just put this down for a second. So it's this book. America's best-selling quick guide to selecting and sewing fabric is now completely revised and updated. So it's spiral bound, which I like, and it's got like every kind of fabric you can imagine in there. It doesn't have samples of them, and I know there are books that come with samples, but it does have, let's see. So it's got like all the information about it. So fabric facts, suitable for, so this is upholstery, sewing tips, how to pre-shrink it, layout, marking, cutting, interfacing, thread, what type of needle, stitch length, presser foot, seam finishes, pressing, top stitching, closures, hems. So it kind of goes through all the like what this person recommends for working with the particular fabric that you've chosen. So this one's linen. So thread, good quality cotton or polyester thread for linen. Interfacing French fuse or fusible tricot, interfacing handkerchief, linen only with itself. Presser foot standard, seam finishing, flat fell, bind separately with narrow double fold bias binding. Pressing, steam iron at high setting, spritz fabric with water and press from the right side. For beautiful top stitching on heavier weights, use buttonhole twist on top, regular thread on needle, and a N needle. Use edge foot or edging joining foot as a guide. So it describes the type of fabric and then what their recommendations are for working with that fabric. I really like this book. As I say, I predominantly sew with, let's see, where's rayon? Have they got rayon in here? No, there's not rayon or viscose in here. But I mean, I don't reach. Oh, hang on, Silk Noir. That's one that I do want to try and work with. Silk Noir. This fabric, sometimes referred to as raw silk, has a dull finish, ravels excessively. It's made from short waste fibres of silk. It takes dyes beautifully, so colours are terrific, and it's reasonably priced. That's one of the reasons I want to work with it. So yeah, I mean, I like this book. I don't reference it. It's Sandra Betzina. I don't reference it very often because I kind of know how to work with the few fabrics that I do have, but it's really nice to have just in case that it's like, oh, this and this, or I want to try this, and what do they recommend? And it's a good starting point. You might find that something completely different to what they recommend works for you, but yeah, I like it. Philmine says Lady McElroy fabrics. I mean, Lady McElroy, I want to ask them if they would be willing to put together a samples book of all their different types, because they have so many different types of lawns and viscoses and their bases, and not even necessarily have them printed, but just put if possible, put together a sample pack of their different types of fabrics that people can buy, so they can feel what they, the difference between them all, because they have so many different ones and I have no idea. Like, this is the Riccardi lawn, which was much it's a heavier weight than the Chalet by quite a lot, but I had no idea about that, and it hadn't occurred to me to look at like the weights and stuff, and they do put that on the website, so they have all the information. So yeah, when I see them in a couple of weeks, I'm going to ask them if that's something that they can do. Sal says, Sian, have you seen Sandman on Netflix yet? No, not yet. I was not able to concentrate yesterday. So I've been watching Dark Matter because it's one of those light, fluffy TV programs that I don't need to concentrate on. Tricia says, good morning, Sian and Peeps. Good morning. Kate says, how do you keep multiple projects straight without things feeling chaotic? I like plans, and I like having I like having things sort of set out. So at the moment behind you is the pile of fabric from my fabric haul, and on top of each fabric is the pattern that I want to pair it with. And I just, I have a system so that the file folder goes underneath, then the pattern, then the cut out pieces goes on top, and then the next file folder would go on top of that. And it's just something that works for me. So yeah. Nimoy says, I'm working on the sew over it, Marguerite. I have finally figured out how to attach the sleeve cuffs in a tidy manner. The original instructions were honestly messy. Not good. Wilmeen says, because you have tons of Lady McElroys and they have different cotton lawns and silks and the silks and the chambres, etc. Yes. Shelley says, good morning from Texas. Good morning. Tricia says, don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already. Yes, there's 132 of us and 51 likes. Elizabeth said, it's a good book that I got and love for fabric. It has tons of swatches for touch, but it's expensive because of the swatches. But it's on Amazon, Fabric Fashion, the swatch book. Yes, that's the one that I was talking about with all the swatches in it. But it is very expensive, but a really, really good resource. Wilhelmine says, I want to have an idea what I buy if I order from Lady McElroy specifically. Yeah, no, like I said, I'm going to talk to them about doing a swatch card or a swatch book like Spoonflower do. So it doesn't necessarily have to be printed, but it would be nice to know what the difference between the different fabric bases are, because like they've got so many. And yeah, it would be nice to know what the difference is, and then, obviously buy accordingly. So I will be talking to them about that when I see them. Gillian Pin says, planning my dressmaker's ball outfit. I've ordered some viscose Marrakein to line the toile of the infamous Simplicity 8013, and also some silk, some satin velvet for beach pajamas. I think they'll look awesome in velvet. Yes. An absolute nightmare to sew. You're a braver lady than I am, but They would indeed. William says sample book for Lady McElroy would be awesome. Great idea. Well, like I say, I've stolen the idea from Spoonflower, but I do find that little sample book really helpful. So yeah. Camilla says great idea. Christine says that would be great. The samples book. I shall tell them how many people have said that they would like this, because yeah, I mean, I know there's a blog post. Somebody linked it in the Peeps group recently, of someone who'd done like a comparison of the different types of fabrics that Lady McElroy did. But I do think it would be a good idea for them to sell that sample book. Sharon says, hi Sean, greetings from Devonport, Tasmania, Australia. Just finished watching your last video. Beautiful dresses. Noticed you have a live happening. Just wanted to say hi. Well, thank you for joining us. And yes, I did very much like the spotty floral combination. Thank you for the Peeps, Patreon Peeps, for voting for that. But welcome. I watched Rosary Apparel's behind the scenes video this morning. She lives in Tasmania as well. Nimue says sample book is definitely a great idea. Yeah, I think it just kind of, because you know, Lady McElroy is not inexpensive fabric, and I think it would just be a good idea for people, especially for people who are splurging and committing to having something sent from abroad, because the shipping is expensive. I mean, they class me as abroad and charge me £10 for shipping, and I live in the UK. But they don't use Royal Mail. They use a courier company. So that's, and the courier company classes the fact that they have to cross water. Even though Royal Mail are just like, yeah, Isle of Wight. I mean, if it was the Isle of Man, I could understand it because it is further away, but no. But anyway, never mind. But yes, if you're spending a lot of money on something, you wanna know what you're getting to make the most informed purchase possible. Kate says, okay, thanks. Thought I'd ask because you seem to organize yourself really, really well. Your output is amazing. I mean, this is my full-time job. Don't forget, like, I do this 40 plus hours a week. I mean, in all honesty, well, the sewing side of thing is 40 plus hours a week. And then there's another probably 20 hours of editing that goes into everything. But yeah, it is my full-time job. So, that's why I make so many things, because I have to put the videos out. Hopefully they have been interesting recently. You guys seem to have been enjoying them, which is awesome. Conchetta says, I noticed that you trace your patterns. Do you use tissue paper patterns as well? No, I always I trace everything. It's a habit that I got into when I first started sewing this time round. By Hand London, their Anna Sew Along was like, yes, you should trace your pattern pieces. I was like, okay, I will do as I am told. And I'm so glad that they've got me into that habit, because if I had cut out the By Hand London Anna dress back when I bought it, it would be too small for me now, and I had to retrace the larger size recently, and much to your guys' horror, there has been a million Anna dresses, but yeah, it was down to them that I was like, okay, I will trace. I get my tracing paper from Moreplan. I buy it by the 300-meter roll. I've had 2 so far. I'm just getting to the end of my second, and I will need to buy another one, and that's 2 in 7 years. It's £70 plus VAT, so it's not an inexpensive thing, but it will last you for a long time, and that's with the amount that I trace and cut out and sew. So you know, if you don't make as many things as I do, it might not, you might, you know, one roll might last you a lot longer. It's also if you have the storage room for it, which I obviously do. But it is a large, it's 113 wide, I think, 130 wide, and then 300 meters of it. But yeah. I don't ever use the tissue ever. I fold it all back up and put it back in the condition that it came out of the envelope in, hopefully, because patterns are expensive, and I really don't want to have to repurchase them. So they're not a what's the word? They're a forever thing for me. They're not disposable. It's not the word I'm looking for. It's like when food goes off, they're not a well, I can't today, words are hard. But yeah, I do trace all of my patterns. Even if I stick a bunch of A4 sheets together, I trace that as well, because oh my goodness, I do not want to do that again. And if I order patterns to be PDF patterns printed from net printers, I trace those off, because again, that's an expense, and I don't want to have it printed off again if I change my size. Even with like the grasser pattern, which I got one size only, I still traced that one off. I could have cut it out, but I wanted to add seam allowance to it, and I'm glad that I didn't, because I think I want to go back in and kind of like have a play around with the armhole depth, because they were ridiculously low. Sal says, you will love the white trench coat that Jenna Coleman is wearing in The Sandman as Constantine. Awesome. I'm very much looking forward to watching it, but I do need to be able to concentrate on it, and I just haven't been able to at the moment. Saskia says, good morning. I'm doing some paint by numbers today. Ooh, nice. Dad and I bought Mum paint by numbers Susie for her birthday, and we need to have that canvas stretched so that she can get around to actually doing it. Pin says, nice problems to have, but I have lost over a stone in the last month, so we'll be spending some time today re-measuring myself. Nice. Very nice. Marissa says, I'm excited for her new pansy pattern. Yeah, the rosary parallel pansy looks really cute. It's not my kind of style, because those kind of no cinching at the waist is just not my favorite look, but I always enjoy watching her channel, because she's got some beautiful like ideas, and I love watching the things that she sews. Again, it probably wouldn't be my cup of tea, and I wouldn't want any of those things in my wardrobe for me to wear, but she looks amazing in them. Right. Karen says, the Isle of Mull, Scotland, is 40 minutes from the mainland. Most courier companies won't deliver there. Oh. Yeah, my little hour of water crossing is yeah, it's just because it's so expensive. Those stupid ferries are ridiculous. They've got a monopoly, whether they want it to admit it or not. There's two of them, and yeah, it's ridiculously expensive. Shelley says, I'd never heard of Lady McElroy until I saw your video, and now I'm completely smitten, and I trace all my patterns, mainly because I'm a newbie and I do not have a TNT pattern yet. I mean, I have to say, like, before about 10 years ago, I was making some dresses that I got some vintage Butterick patterns, like reprints, but yeah, I cut them out and they don't fit anymore. And the very, very lovely Maggie has found one of them and is sending me the pattern, the uncut version of the pattern. But I have two dresses. In fact, I've got quite a few dresses patterns in my stash that I have previously cut out and I can't use anymore because I'm not that size anymore. So I'm really grateful to By Hand London for even introducing the notion of tracing patterns, because it was just like, oh, perishable. There we go. That was the word I was looking for. Yeah, I don't view patterns as a perishable item. I don't view them as something, but I mean, that's again because like I don't have access to 99-cent sales that they do in the US sometimes. It's not like I can cut up a pattern and then be like, oh bugger, I've messed it up, and go out and buy another 99-cent version of it. Like, you know, I buy my patterns from Something Delightful, when they do their sales, but still the cheapest ones are now $4 and the Vogues are $7. So you know they're still not cheap. And yeah, I like having the original there as well, because if I altered a pattern from the tissue and it all went horribly wrong, then you've got no point to go back to. So having a tracing of the original means that if it all goes horribly wrong, you can go back to the square one and start again, kind of thing. So yeah. Shanae says, has anyone seen the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? Her costumes are what dreams are made of. The pattern company has done a roundup of pattern dupes for sewers to recreate her fabulous wardrobe. Yes. I love the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel's costume department. And Costuming College with Bernadette Banner actually did a Mrs. Maisel dress. They released a pattern for that. So there is like a pattern available for one of her dresses, and if you Google Bernadette Banner Mrs. Maisel, the pattern and the video will come up for that. But yes, those dresses are gorgeous. Conchetta says, thank you. I'm just jumping back in, and I was taught to by using the tissue. I appreciate the advice. I mean, again, like I say, I got the advice from By Hand London, and it served me really well, because the By Hand London pattern was £17. And if I, and they don't do paper patterns anymore for good reason, and I understand why, and I'm sad. But yeah, if I had just gung-ho cut that one out, I would have had to have repurchased the pattern, because I wouldn't have had the size available to me that I now need. Linnea says, how much bias binding do you use for the Eve? For reference, I think I need to buy some for this dress. I don't know, my love. I'm so sorry. Let me finish sewing this, because I've got an Eve down here so I can measure. But I buy my bias binding by the 25-meter roll. So I never kind of really worry about how much I need. I just kind of get a roll out and hope for the best. Sometimes playing bias binding roulette, but more often than not, it kind of works out. But I have got an Eve down here, so I can measure once I'm done sewing this together. Karen says consumable. Yes, that's another good way of describing it, Karen. Nimoy says, I'm glad you've got me into tracing my patterns. I'm down to one roll of tracing paper that'll have to last me till the fabric market in October. I'm so glad that it has been good for other people as well. So, I mean, this is the thing, like I get lots of comments from people just saying, oh, I haven't got time for that. I don't want to trace it. Like, I can buy the pattern for really cheap if I need to buy it again. And it's like, yeah, no, you do you. I'm not saying you have to trace it. I'm just saying I like to trace it for these reasons. And I get so many questions about it. I am going to be doing a how and why I trace my patterns video. That's been very highly requested. We just need the cutting table to be finished, and we're almost there. We've just got to, then I can do my sewing room tour as well. It'll happen. It will happen. Where did I get to with the chat? Terry says patterns don't expire. No, I mean your physical pattern, if you've bought it, doesn't expire, but sometimes they go out of print. Like the Butterick one, the Butterick vintage reprint that I'm talking about, I can't buy it anymore, and I found it on eBay for like 30 quid for an uncut version. So I'm gutted that I cut out that pattern, and that's why I want to go back to it. So I don't, that's what I mean when I say I don't view them as consumable or perishable items. I view them as things that should be there forever to be used as I need them. Nia says to Gin and Pins, ooh, Gin and Pins, that sounds amazing. Gin and Pins says, I think I'll have to follow you down the paper route. My preferred Swedish tracing paper has become so expensive. Yeah, I would love to trace everything on Swedish tracing paper. It would be a lot easier. but it's just too expensive. It's £1.50 a metre, whereas the paper that I use is like 0.3p per metre. So I did use Swedish tracing paper for my By Hand London Anna top, because it's a pattern that I know is going to get used frequently and will stand the test of time better in Swedish tracing paper than regular paper. But the majority of times there's not very many patterns that I'm like, oh, I'm going to use this as much as that I know ahead of time that I'm going to use it that much, kind of thing, if that makes sense. Sarah says, hello from Norfolk, UK. Can you just smell the freshly baked scones I've just made? Oh, you big tease. Karen's. Linda's here. Good morning, peeps. Got my friend's dog staying with me. She is a barker, trying to sit outside hand sewing, but she keeps shouting at walkers and boats on the canal. Oh no. Let's hope Susie doesn't come back down and start barking, because that'll set her off as well. Gin and Pin says to Nia, I'm now postmenopausal, so I think it's hormonal. I had dramatic weight loss post-puberty as well. Megan says, good morning, Shine and Peeps. And to Shanae, thank you for bringing up that up. Must tell my mother, she loves that show. Elena says, sorry, lovelies, have to go see you all soon. Thank you for joining us. Helen says, don't buy your next roll of paper from Moorplan. I have a roll that I have hardly used, moving, so can't store. My gift to you for entertaining me since the first COVID 2 years ago. Oh, thank you. Just need to get it to you, but I live in Christchurch, so I could meet you at Southampton Ferry Terminal if you have a car and have a think. That would be incredibly nice of you, Helen. Thank you. We are going to be on the mainland at Southampton Ferry Terminal on the 17th and then the 23rd, I think. So we shall have to try and work something out, but that's very kind of you. Thank you. Are you sure? I mean, if you've got nowhere to store it, so it kind of makes sense, but yes, I'm happy to pay you for it. Jojo's here. Morning all. Hope you're all well. Day of rest for me. I have a 15-hour day tomorrow for the Commonwealth closing ceremony. Eek. Ooh, that is a long day. Shelley says, red day, love. Same here. Was at the hospital all night. Got home a few hours ago. Surgery set for 24 hours. Oh, you poor thing. You poor thing. Jojo says, if anyone has any spare spoons for my recovery, they're gratefully received. Lol, I'm going to sleep for days. Yes, 15-hour day is a lot. Olivia says, good morning from Iowa, 6:03 in the morning. Good morning. Rensko's here. Hi all. Hello. Terry says, oh no, I meant that is good to keep patterns because they don't expire as such. You can always use them, even modified a bit, so tracing is good. Ah, got you, Terry. Yes, exactly. Patterns don't go off. I misunderstood. Rotten Ralph is here. Good morning, peeps. I've had you all talking in my ear since just after 5. Good morning. Helen says, no, it's my gift. Oh, thank you so much. And says, let me know your timings for the 17th and the 23rd. Are you in the Peeps group, Helen? Because we could try and sort something out on there. Gin Pin says, I don't think I'll be tracing out the 8013. So many large pieces. That's what bugs me so much about that bloody dress, is that I traced both the long and short skirt versions because I was that convinced I was going to love it. I was like, yes, I need all the versions. Never mind. Olivia says 79 degrees, 26 degrees centigrade. It's going to be hot. Oh, yes. Sal says, my dream cosplay has become my standard everyday wear. Black acetate trench, grey satin trousers with the different tops daily, and my dream stone necklace. Nice. Box 3D says, your McCall's 7537. It will be with the trim is living in my mind rent free. I love it, and I'm looking in my pattern collection for something to sew with trim. Yeah. This is going to be a very pretty dress. Shanae says to Megan, I can't wait for the next season of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I've seen the Bernadette video of one of her dresses. Amazing. Anna's here. Hi all, how are you? Another Scorchio day. Very well, thank you, Anna. How are you? Shelley says, I have a vintage pattern from 1922 in mint condition. It's so neat to have. Oh, very cool. Helen says, yes, okay, we will liaise. Awesome. Charlotte says, hello, lost track of time, frantically sewing, aiming to enter the pattern review August mini wardrobe contest with a Sian inspired 70s holiday capsule based on black ivory leaf print. Anyone else entering? I hadn't even heard about it. Do tell. And Olivia says, give a thumbs up, everyone. Yes, 132 of us and 64 likes. Anna says, yeah, I'm okay, doing a little more sewing, the Vogue 9259, very nice. Eliza says, hello all, just joining. What are you working on today, Shan? My Parrotdise blue trimmed dress. I'm just currently sewing down, or trying to sew down, the midriff lining at the waistline so that I can then sew on the trim. But before I start sewing on trim, I have to what do I have to do? I have to take out all the gathering stitches so that they don't get caught up in the sewing of the trim, because there is a lot of gathering stitching that needs to be removed before the trim can get sewn on. Kathy says, good morning, Sean. Good morning. Rizko says, I'm sewing a shirt with a waterfall neckline from silk jersey. My machine just wants to eat the fabric. Oh no. I've never tried working with a silk jersey. You're braver than me. Charlotte C says, it's a sew 5-piece capsule, 2 bottoms, 2 tops, and 1 other piece. Must go together, and you have to post individual and composite review of the pattern and pictures. That sounds really interesting. Where is this competition? Oh, on pattern review. Okay. I'll have to have a look at it. Rensko says, my first time too. Looks fancy though. Yeah, it'll be amazing once it's done. It's just one of those ones that you kind of like, you're cursing it every second that you are sewing. But it will be so worth it when you're done. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Rezge says it will be, sorry, Rotten Mouse says, Rezge, it will be beautiful. Yes. Yes. And Rezge says, I hope so. Definitely, it'll be worth it. You definitely, there's definitely projects that I've worked on that are just the entire time I'm like, I'm hating every second of this, but when you finished, it's like, oh, I love how this has turned out. making sure I'm not catching or going, I'm just getting the fabric from the seam allowance, not anything from the waistline. Done that before. Done that before. So yes, I've got to try and get 5 dresses sewn before we go to the Festival of Quilts. One of them is already cut out and is only going to take me a day to sew. It's the 6891 McCall's one, and I know I can do that in a day. But the other 4 all need to be traced, altered, and cut out and then sewn. None of them are particularly difficult. I think they're all doable. And realistically, there's only 2 more that I have to have sewn before we go, because I need to wear them at the Festival of Quilts. All the other ones are the Deer and Doe, Orchid, Licorice and Forget Me Not dresses, which I want to try and have videos up whilst I'm away for, so I need to obviously get them sewn and filmed ahead of time. And that's the plan. I can totally improvise and do something else if I need to, but I would like to get that done. It would be my preference to get it done ahead of time. So yeah, I've got a busy 9 days ahead of me. Very busy 9 days ahead of me. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Sonia says, hi Sean, this is Sonia from Kentucky, USA. Hello, good evening. Well, good morning for you, isn't it? Not good evening. Thank you for joining us. Rotten Ralph says, I have finally been released by my feline overlord so I can actually type. I have 3 cuts of rayon challis for sewing vintage slips and I need to get my sojo back somehow. Awesome. It will be very pretty. Lots of people keep asking if I sew my own slips, and I really don't at the moment. I get them from Next, actually. I've got a couple of microfiber ones, and the reason that I buy them is because they are very simple. Not that much. I haven't got that much interest in sewing them. I do want to try that vintage pattern that Alex gave me, that I showed you guys in my vintage pattern haul. It's sitting next to me, mocking me. But the microfiber ones that I've got do what I need them to do, which is, you know, anti-static between me and tights, because we all know how I feel about my tights. So I've got a bunch of slips that I've bought and that I don't make, but I would like to try making some. Okay. But yeah, does anyone know where you get microfiber fabric from? Because I haven't seen any, and I do like how slippery it is against the clothing that I wear. Right, so waistline is stitched into place, and looks good. Ready for the words are hard. Ready for the trim to be put on, but I need to take the gathering stitching out first. So let's get that sorted, and then we can hem it. Might not even need that. Let's see, where did I get to? Rachel then says good morning. Good morning. Thank you again for your comments on that comment. Rotten Ralph says working on some dotty angel dresses because the fit doesn't matter. Nice. Yeah, when I lose my sojo, the reason I go to my T&Ts is because I want a definite win. I want something that I know is going to work and that I'm going to like and it's going to look pretty on me. Or is going to fit or not need to fit, or that's my usual thought process when I lose my sojo, is like, let's make something pretty and easy. Karen says good morning from Long Island, New York. Just love all the beautiful dresses you've been making lately. Thank you very much. Natalie says, weird spring and some plastic shards just exploded out of my manual turn wheel thingy. Sewing machine is broken. Trying not to freak out. Oh my goodness. Are you okay? Did anything hit you? Olivia says, has anyone sewn the Liz dress by Charm Patterns? Not yet. I own it, but I haven't attempted it yet. Anyone else? I haven't really sewn any of the Charm Patterns, really. I own all of them. Well, I own a lot of, I think there's a couple that I don't own. But I do have a lot of them. Rotten Ralph says to Natalie, breathe and step away from the machine. Yes. Linnea says, beware, have that fabric. Oh, good knowledge. Thank you. Megan says, it's too hot here in New Orleans for slips, tights, even wearing your own skin. No, I'm so jealous. Does anyone think that a linen slip would work for wicking moisture? Is that a bad idea? I mean, they made linen chemises, didn't they? So I mean, I don't know, but I would say yes. I mean, when I mentioned tights, I'm not wearing tights at this moment in time. No, that would not be fun. That would not be fun at all. Conchetta says, oh my goodness, that dress is stunning. Hopefully it will be. There's a lot still to do on it. Shanae says, Sean, did you say 5 dresses in 9 days? Dang, that's intense. I did, yes. Yeah. Hopefully I can achieve it. If it was just sewing them, it would be easy, but it's the fact that I've got to trace and alter them. And I'm going to be doing the thing that I always tell people not to do. I'm not going to make a muslin. Because I don't think I'm going to need to for the styles that they all are. I think I'm going to be fine not making muslins, but yeah. Let's see. Where did I get to? Olivia says, I know it's named after Elizabeth Taylor, but when I saw it reminded me of the dress that I wore in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Which one's that, Olivia? Oh, the Liz. Yes. Kishamba says to Megan, where in New Orleans are you? Alex is here. Hi, Sean and Peeps. Hope everyone is well. Very well, thank you, Alex. How are you? Are you going to the Festival of Quilts? Might be seeing you and Hedgehubby and your stepmom. That would be stepmom. Mother-in-law. Words are hard. Kathleen says, got a question. What is your reason for placing one of the gathering lines outside of the seam allowance? I find it gives me neater, prettier gathers. If you think about it, if you're putting 2 lines of gathering stitches above where you're going to be sewing, then the bottom edge of where you're going to be sewing is not corralled, is not being made to behave itself. Whereas if you put a line of stitching above and below the actual stitching line, the gathering is being corralled above and below the stitching line. I just find it gives me prettier, neater gathers. But again, it is something that you need to think about in the fact that will your fabric tolerate it, and will the because if it's in in the actual fabric of the garment, will it be seen? Will the fabric recover from having needle holes put through it? It is something to think about and test ahead of time. I think I've done the entirety of that bottom row. This is the underneath thread coming out. So yeah, that's why I do it, but you need to make sure that your fabric is going to recover from having the stitching put into it, because if it's not, then it's not worth doing. But I just find that it helps corral the fabric so you get neater gathers. Rotten Ralph says to Megan, I dress like a Bedouin in the heat. Keep the sun off my skin, but vampires do that. Gin and Pins says, I'm off to my mum's for a couple of weeks in a few days, so I might take some sewing with me. She plays balls most afternoons, so I can use my grandma's sewing machine. Oh, cool. Gin and Pins, I've read that one. Rachel Lynn says, you're welcome. It made me so mad to see a comment like that disguised as kindness. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, in what planet do you think it's kind to say something like that to somebody? Like, no. Just no. Olivia says the 1956 movie for yes. Megan says to Kashama, haha, where are you? Harahan, where are you? God, my eyesight is bad. This is why I have to wear glasses. Rotten Ralph says linen is amazing in humid subtropical heat. Natalie says, I am uninjured. Machine is unfortunately deceased. Oh my gosh, you poor thing. I'm glad you're not hurt, but you poor thing. Oh, sorry, my eyeball. Linnea says, I've only sewn the night and day dress, but I love it. Sal says to Rotten Ralph, I love vampires, and I am talking with Bram Stoker's great-grand-nephew regularly. Kashava says to Megan, Uptown, we're in Croatia right now, but we're back in NOLA in September. Nice. Shirley says, I'm part of the Charm Patreon, thus I've sewn a few of her patterns. As I'm a newbie, I find them easy to follow, and she puts a tutorial online Patreon for all the patterns. Yes, I am a patron of hers as well. I have all of the Patreon patterns. I have a very long list of charm patterns in my PDF folder. And I love the fact that she does the video tutorials as well. I think they're brilliant. We all know how I feel about a video so long. Have I got all of the thread? I think I have. I think I have it. Yeah, I'm just dropping it on the floor, not actually in the bin. Huh. Okay, let's have a look. I think that's your lot. Yes, all the threads, all the gathering threads are out. So now I'm going to attempt to hem this. Oh, I'm going to do a turned and turned again hem because I'm going to add trim to it, so it's going to be hidden. So yeah, that's the plan. That is the plan. Let's see what Ralph says to Megan. I'm in Central Florida, by the way. Olivia says, I've been watching her sew along for the list. Nice. Megan says, Sean and Rotten Ralph, you guys get me. Chemise and vampires are my vibes. Shanae says to Natalie, are you okay? Sorry about your machine. Rotten Ralph says, Natalie, sorry about your machine. You should take it straight to the repair shop. Let them call it. Hello.
Hello. Ooh. We're going to leave at 1.
Okay.
Shall I leave the back door open?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give her lunch before we go.
Okay. How long are you going to be?
About 4 hours.
Okay. Where did it get to? Shelley says, Olivia, I'm not quite to that level. I put my hook and eyes on backwards in the last shirt I made. Easy mistake to make, don't worry. Natalie says, thanks. I'm having a panic attack, but I'm getting it under control. It's not the end of the world, just feels like it. Lol. Oh, you poor thing. Many gentle hugs. Sal's, Rotten Ralph says to Sal, I'm jealous. I have been following Dracula daily on Tumblr, but faux blogging Jonathan Harker isn't the same. Megan says to Kashama, very cool. I live in Uptown for years. We'll look for you in September hangouts. It's neat. Another Peeps is here. Yeah. Rachel Lynn says, maybe charm patterns should be your next year's Make 9. Ooh, that's a good idea. Very good idea. Olivia says to Shelley, I recently see right side to wrong side on sewed right side to wrong side on a shirt I was sewing. It's never a good idea to sew when you're tired or frustrated. Yes. No, Mum won't mind me saying this, but she was sewing her 8577 and she'd lengthened the bodice a little bit, and she'd done the same for the front and the back, and she'd sewn it together and she couldn't work out because it was still 5/8 of an inch too short. She's like, but I checked and held the pattern pieces up together, and she'd sewn these front pieces swapped so that the armholes were here and the V neckline was here, and that's why it wasn't meeting up. And it was just like, grrr. So it happens. It does happen. Don't worry. Megan says to Rotten Ralph, awesome. I realised way too late in life that linen is the way. Early in life, how cool Dracula is. Sal says to Rotten Ralph, his name is Draker C. Stoker, and he has a few social media accounts that you can follow. He is the caretaker of the Stoker estate and knowledge expert of Dracula. Cool. Linnea says, forgot I have to make the Hepburn skirt, and I love that, but 2 different pants I've made of hers both have very short crotch length. Yes, I need to measure a crotch length on anything that I make. Kashama says to Megan, we'll let you know when I'm back in town. And Olivia says hello to your mum. They are going to see a friend of theirs who just had a hip replacement, so they're going to go and see her. Shelley says, ha, that made me laugh out loud. Definitely sounds like something we all could do. Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things. I'm trying to think of one of the ones I've done recently. Oh, when I was sewing my sparkly tops in the winter, the very first one I made, I sewed it all together and then realized I created a Mobius loop and it was never going to turn through. And it was just like, oh! So I had to unstitch everything and then work out how to bag it out. And I did, I got there, but it was one of those ones where it was just like, how silly are you? So, yeah. Linda says, I did the same thing as your mum, sewing a lot of dress of all things. Simplest patterns in the world too. Megan says to Kshama, yes, enjoy Croatia. Guys, I think I'm going to call it a day. I know it's only been an hour and a half, but I am struggling. The painkillers I've taken have not kicked in. I am struggling. Yeah. Conchetta says your whoop stories are making me feel a bit better. Lately, my seam ripper has been my best friend. Yeah, it happens. It happens to everyone. It's just one of those things. So, yeah. Thank you very much for hanging out with me for this afternoon and getting those 2 things done. I am going to carry on working on this dress this afternoon, but I am definitely hitting the wall. Lack of sleep is catching up with me. So, yeah. Rotten Bell says, take care of yourself, Sean. Thank you. Sal says it's funny that he didn't know about Dracula till a teenager. When Halloween local kids were afraid of him because of his Stoker name, his dad explained his heritage to Dracula. Oh, cool. Mim says, wishing you all the best. Olivia says, hope you're better soon. Sean, get some rest. And lots of lovely people saying that they hope I feel better. Thank you very much. Sorry to be a bit of a Debbie Downer today. Sorry about that to Debbie's as well. It's not just a lack of sleep is catching up with me. So there will be the daily waffles. There's a one-take waffle for the Patreon peeps on Wednesday, although I haven't filmed that yet. And hopefully this dress on Friday and the orchid dress on Saturday. That is the plan. So, and then hang out next weekend, and then it will be off to the Festival of Quilts. So I hope you guys have enjoyed our very brief little chat today, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.